Hi, I'm Chris Fondren. I'm the director of the Inline Certification Program, as well as the founder of the Mobile Yoga Workout. The Mobile Yoga Workout was a program that I put together back in 2010 or so with the company Rollerblade, with the idea of putting the benefits, the cardiovascular benefits of skating with the benefits of yoga, such as the flexibility, balance, breath awareness. Over the last 2 weeks, now that our whole world has shifted indoor and online, I've been motivated and inspired by many instructors around the world who are taking to the internet to continue to connect with their students. I personally actually teach classes at a local university where I actually teach all of the yoga classes. So I have been teaching using Zoom over the last 2 weeks with my students. And although there's nothing better than human interaction, I think during this time to continue to spread our enthusiasm for what we do without spreading the virus, this is the way to go. So with that said, a friend of mine in India had asked me to put together some exercises that he could share with his students. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So these are some movements that you can do to help keep your body flexible, keep you moving when you have to be inside, and get you ready for when you're able to get back outdoors again. So hopefully you'll be able to see me. And we're going to start in the base position. So having your legs out in front, sitting up nice and tall. It's really important for skaters to develop a strong core. This is one of the reasons why skaters often have back issues, is because they aren't able to sit up nice and straight and they don't have a strong developed core. So just sitting like this regularly will help develop your core. But we're going to start not necessarily with the core as our focus, although we do need to continue to sit up straight, and you can do so by having your arms behind you as well for support. We're going to bring our awareness to our toes. Our feet do a lot of things for us as skaters, and it's really important that we take care of them. So bringing the awareness to your feet, taking a nice deep breath in, pull your toes back. Exhale, squeeze your toes down. Inhale, pull your toes back towards you. Exhale, squeeze. And go ahead and do another 6 more like that for a total of 8. So this gives us an opportunity to really connect our awareness to our feet, to our body, to our breath. And as I mentioned, if your feet hurt as a skater, then you're going to have a miserable experience. So it's really important that you keep your feet healthy. Go ahead and do 3 more like this. If possible, trying to breathe in and out through the nose. It helps to activate the lower lobes of the lungs, allowing you to breathe more fully and efficiently. So after you finish your 8th one, go ahead and take your whole foot back. So now you're moving into the ankles. Exhale, point your toes. Inhale, pull your whole foot back. Exhale, point your toes. And do 6 more like that. So now you're moving not only into the ankle, but into the shin and the calf muscle. Continuing to make that connection between your awareness, the movement, and your breath. Please do about 2 to 3 more. And then just relax your feet for a moment, bringing your awareness to them, noticing any tingling, any warm feeling, any sensations generated from those simple movements. We're going to move on to our knees. We're just going to do a few warm-ups today. So we're going to move up to our knees. These are also very important to skaters, obviously important to all athletes, and it's important that we really keep them in good working order. So taking your right leg, go ahead and grab your thigh. Again, sitting up nice and tall, working on your core strength. Begin to make a small circle with your kneecap. So the foot is relaxed. You're not turning the foot. The foot's relaxed. And the rotation is happening just in the knee. So making approximately 8 circles to the right, and then 8 circles to the left. Moving slowly and carefully, ensuring that it's just the knee that's moving. And once you finish a total of 8, in both directions, bring the knee into the chest to realign the knee, and then bring the leg out. And just for a moment, notice the difference from one side to the other. It's important as skaters that we start to really identify what's going on in our own body, so that when we work with our coaches, when we're on our own skating, we can see when we're doing something correctly, when we're doing something maybe incorrectly, or when there's maybe an issue developing that we need to slow down and take care of. Moving on to the second side. So again, sitting up nice and tall, 8 rotations in one direction, just moving the knee, lubricating the knee joint. Breathing naturally, and then moving in the opposite direction. And these, what I've done so far, are really easy to be done lying in your bed. So that's another option. So when you're waking up in the morning or before you go to bed at night, you can do some of these to wake your body up before you even hit the floor, or to help relax the body before sleep. So we worked on the toes, the ankles, the knees, hips. This is a big one for skaters. Okay, most of us have tight hips because we have tight backs, and tight hamstrings because we have big thighs, and maybe a weak core. So there's a lot going on here. So if we can work on developing flexibility and strength in all of the different areas, it'll all work hopefully together and keep us pain-free and on our skates. So the next one is going to be a full, actually I'll do it from the side, full butterfly. So, and I'm doing it from the side for a reason. So I'm bringing the soles of my feet together. And what many of us do when we do this stretch is we pull the knees in really tight. We hunch up through our shoulders. And then we end up not really stretching what we're supposed to be stretching. And this really, not only does it develop flexibility in the hips, but it also helps to develop strength and flexibility in the back, but only if you do it correctly. So take the feet out in front of you, so there's some space. The feet are far enough away where you know you can sit up nice and tall. So bring the feet to a position where you can do just that. Take the elbows and place the elbows into the little bit of the crook of the kneecap on both sides, grabbing the ankles. Begin by taking a deep breath in, letting the knees come up. And then as you exhale, take your chest out over your feet, gently pressing the knees down with your elbows. Pausing at the end of the movement, feeling the stretch throughout the hips, and knowing that your back is relatively straight. On the next in-breath, come back up, lengthening through the spine, through the crown of the head, and then exhale again, taking the chest forward, gently pressing down the knees with the elbows. And now continue with the breath, 6 more like that. The head stays in line with the spine. And you're just placing a little bit of gentle pressure on the elbows as the knees fan out. Breathing fully and deeply. Do 3 more like this. And hold the last one in the down position for 3 deep breaths. Now holding this last one, again, applying that gentle pressure with the elbows. So you're feeling the stretch through the hips. The crown of the head is reaching forward as the back remains relatively flat. And then after that 3rd breath on the next inhalation, bring the knees in, stretching the legs out. Feeling through both hips, feeling through the low back. We're going to move on. These are just a few warm-ups that you can do prior to skating. We're going to look a little bit at the shoulders and the chest. So from all the sitting we're doing, because now we're inside, and just normally because we're on our phones all the time, we create a lot of tension in our chest and our necks. And as skaters, we often too, when we're skating, because we're trying so hard and maybe we're holding our breaths a little bit, we're creating a lot of tension in our necks. So this is an important area for us to really maintain our flexibility all throughout our chest, all throughout our neck and our chest. So the next one is shoulder rotations. So you're going to start by placing your hands on your shoulders, taking a breath in, and on the exhalation, drop your elbows down. So feel the shoulders pull away. So feel a little lengthening in the muscles around the neck. On the next in-breath, inhale, bringing the elbows together and up. Exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades. Feeling the shoulder blades come together as the elbows come around. Inhale, come forward and up. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And go ahead and do up to 6 more like this. Breathing fully and deeply with the awareness on opening up the chest as you bring the elbows down and around. I think we have about 3 more here. And then just bringing the arms down for a moment and just feeling through the shoulders and through the chest. Notice, do you feel any energy? Do you feel any warmness? This is that development of the body awareness that's so important as skaters. We need to know what's going on with our body so we can make adjustments. We need to see what feels good, what doesn't feel good. So notice any changes and how your chest feels from shoulder rotations in that direction. And now we're going to go in the opposite way. So placing the hands up again on the shoulders, take a breath in, and on the exhalation, drop your elbows. Inhale, bring the elbows back and up. Exhale, bringing the elbows together if you can. And then inhale, trying to take the elbows slightly behind you. So you're really opening up the chest, stretching the muscles of the chest. Inhaling as the elbows come back and up. Exhaling as the elbows come around. And do 5 more like that. And I apologize if my counting is off because as I'm talking, I lose count. So feeling through the shoulders, feeling through the arms, through the neck and the chest. Just 2 more to do, and then we're going to just do a couple for the spine, and then I'm going to show you a routine called the sun salutation. So stay tuned. So the next we're going to work on is our wrists. Now as skaters, obviously this is something we really want to protect. When we fall, we often reach out with our wrists. So this is one reason to keep them strong and healthy. Another reason is that of all the typing and the texting that we do. So this is something, again, that can be done in the morning, and it should be done when you wake up or when you start to feel fatigue or tightness or any kind of weird feelings in your fingers. Stop what you're doing and take care of your hands. So we're going to do 3 movements for the fingers and the wrists. So you're going to start by bringing the arms out. So I'm going to move sideways for a moment so you can notice. If I just bring my arms out, my arms are hanging directly off my neck muscles, creating more tension. But if I roll my shoulder blades down together, now my upper back muscles are helping to hold up my arms, and my arms are not going to feel quite as heavy. So keeping the upper back engaged in that way, tuck your thumbs in, like in make a fist. Take a deep breath in, squeeze, and then exhale like you're dropping something. Inhale, squeeze, exhale like you're dropping something. And go ahead and just do a few more like that. I'm just going to do a couple of these so we can move on. And do 1 more like that. And you, of course, can do as many as you want on your own. And the next one, I want you just to have your palms flat. And this is more for the wrists. You're going to inhale like you're stopping traffic. Exhale, bending the palms back towards your body. So inhale, extending the wrist. Exhale, flexing the wrists. And do 3 more like that. You can connect the breath by inhaling on the upward movement of the hands, exhaling as the palms come down towards you. And the last one of these wrist and hand movements is wrist rotation. So if you need to, go ahead and bring your arms down, shake your shoulders out, and then bring them back up, engage the upper back, tuck the thumbs in, and begin to slowly rotate in one direction. So you're rotating the wrist, trying to keep the arms as still as possible, and then moving in the opposite direction. And then bringing the hands down. So just feeling through the wrists, feeling through the shoulders, the fingertips after those simple movements. And then the last thing we'll do before we move on to some traditional postures is something for the neck. So again, as human beings that spend a lot of time in front of technology, we have a lot of tension created here. As skaters, we tend to have a lot of tension in our neck from the way we move our arms when we skate, and any tension we're feeling while we're skating. So again, there's a lot of tension that accumulates in the neck, causing pain and discomfort. So this last one is called neck rotations. And you're going to start by just imagining that you've got a marker or a pen or something on your nose, and you're going to create a circle right in front of you. So start making a really small circle. And as it's comfortable for you, start to increase the circumference of your circle. Seeing if you can make the circle just a little bit bigger. But if there's any discomfort or there's any pain in the neck, go back to a smaller circle. You can breathe naturally, or you can synchronize your breath by inhaling as your head goes up, exhaling as your head goes down, and then switch directions, going the opposite way and noticing if there's any discomfort, again, making a smaller circle. You do not need to make a large circle, and if there's any pain associated, you should do less. And if there's still pain, then discontinue altogether. Okay, so sitting back, stretching your legs out just for a moment before we move into some other traditional yoga movements. Just sitting back and just noticing, closing your eyes for just a moment and noticing how you feel from your toes all the way up through the neck now. So the next one we're going to do is usually called cat-cow or cat pose. And it's really good for the spine because it extends and flexes the spine. So you're going to begin in table position. So in table position, your knees are about hip width apart, which is about a fist distance. So they should be directly under the knees, or the knees should be directly under the hips. The hands are right underneath the shoulders. And you want to think about grabbing the ground. So as I mentioned earlier when we were doing the wrist movements, I said using the upper back to help hold up your heavy arms. Now you're going to use the upper back to help support your wrists. So you're not putting all your weight down on your wrists. So this is important for this posture, but it's more important for planks, push-ups, and other weight-bearing postures that you might do in your training. So again, so your hands are directly underneath your shoulders, your knees are hip width apart, and you're going to spread your fingertips out and grab the ground. And as you grab the ground, pull those shoulder blades down and in so that you have a little bit of bend in your elbow and you're not putting direct pressure right on the wrists. So we're going to start with the neutral spine. And from here, you're going to inhale. The tailbone goes up with the head, arching your back. This is the cow position. Exhale, you're going to round the back, pulling your belly button up towards your spine, tucking your tailbone, looking back at your knees. This is the cat. Keeping the arms strong, but a little bend in the elbow. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, tuck your tailbone, look back at your knees and round your back. 6 more like this. Connecting your awareness with the movement and the breath. So inhale deeply through the nose, arch your back. Exhale, round your back. You can do about 3 more like this. Again, I've lost count for about a total of 8. This is a nice one to do in the mornings, maybe prior to going on a skate, especially if you know it's going to be a long one. And when you get to the last one, briefly press your hips back into child's pose. The next one we're going to do is a runner's lunge. In this style of yoga, it's actually called equestrian pose, but it's also traditionally a traditional stretch, and it's a runner's lunge. So it's going to come in handy when I put together this sequence at the end. And I don't know if you can see me. A little bit too tall here. If you can see. Okay, so we're going to start with coming up onto the knees and then taking a big step forward with your right leg. On an inhalation, exhale, come into your knees. So when you do that, you want to make sure that the knee is stacked up right over the ankle, and the knee is in alignment with in between the big toe and the second toe. The arms can be reaching downward, and you should feel a nice big stretch in your left hip flexor. So just taking a few breaths here, settling in just for a moment so you can feel the stretch in the front of the left thigh, throughout the hips. You can feel some warmth building in the right quadricep. On your next inhalation, press through the heel of your right foot, and then exhale, bring your right leg around. Then taking your left leg in front, inhale the left leg forward, exhale into the knee. And again, making sure that the knee is lined up right over the ankle and it's in between the big toe and the second toe. Roll the shoulders back and down, reaching the fingers downward, feeling the stretch now in the right hip flexor, down through the right thigh. Again, feeling some warmth build up in the left quadricep. Pressing through the heel of your left foot now. Inhale, press the foot back. Exhale, bring the left leg back underneath you. And now we'll just move with the breath through a few more of these. Inhale the right leg forward. Exhale, come into your knee. Feel the stretch. Pressing through the whole foot, especially the heel. Inhale, press back. Exhale, bring the right leg under. If you're having trouble balancing, find something in front of you to focus on. Inhale the left foot forward. Exhale, bend into your knee. Inhale, press through the heel. Exhale, left foot comes back under. Switch sides, right foot again. Inhale, come into the right knee. Feeling that nice big stretch in the hips, reaching the fingertips down, maybe getting a little bit of bend in the back. On an in-breath, press through the right heel, exhaling that right leg back under. Left leg, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Let's just do 2 more on each side. Again, you can do as many as you'd like on your own after this video is over. Left leg, inhale, exhale, come into your knee, pressing through the heel, inhale, exhale, bring the leg back around. And final one on each side. And then just coming back into child's pose just for a moment, feeling through the hips, through the back of the legs, through the thighs. And our next one is traditionally called downward facing dog. And this is a great pose for hamstring and back flexibility, as well as developing upper body strength. And I think a lot of times with skaters, we build up really big quads, big legs, big glutes, but we neglect the upper body. So doing this pose, downward facing dog, as well as lots of planks, will help develop our upper body. And of course, planks also help develop our core, which again, I mentioned earlier, is very important to skaters. So downward facing dog begins in that table position. So again, hands are directly underneath the shoulders. It's going to be even more important that you really grab the ground for this, making sure that you're protecting your wrists. So the hands are going to stay in position. So make sure they're in the right position throughout this movement. We're going to start with just moving through the pose dynamically. So rolling the toes under Taking a breath in, pressing the hips up to the ceiling. Exhale, press your hips back, letting your head hang between your arms. Inhale, come onto the toes, and then exhale, come flat. Come right back down to table position. Inhale, come up onto the toes as the hips go up to the ceiling. Exhale, press the hips back, letting your head hang. Inhale, up onto the toes. Exhale, back down. Inhale up, exhale back. We're going to do one more dynamically, and then I'm going to give you some options on how you can use this to develop further strength and flexibility. So inhaling up, exhaling back. So now from here, you can just choose to hold this pose, working up to a minute or two of holding, not moving your hands, not moving your feet. That's one option. That's going to help build upper body strength. It's going to help build flexibility in the hamstrings and the back. But if you're having a lot of pain and a lot of tightness, especially in the hamstrings, you have options. You can bend the knees, pedaling the knees back and forth like this, or up and down, I should say. You can take the feet wide. So having the feet nice and wide will eliminate some of that discomfort in the hamstrings. One of my favorite is bringing my feet back into the position that they were when I started, but instead of keeping my legs straight, bending my knees toward my chest, but continuing to push my hips back. This takes the stretch out of the hamstrings altogether, which may be something that feels very, very good to you. But what it really does is it takes the stretch into the mid-back, which in skating, sometimes those back pains go up into the mid-back, and it's really hard to stretch that region. So really pressing the hips back, but feeling a little bit of an extension in the mid-back, releasing tension there. Another option, after, if your wrists aren't feeling good, is coming to a wall, and again, I hope you can see me, and bringing your hands up against a wall, standing away from the wall far enough that you can press your hips out. So your hands are going to be above your shoulders, and you're going to press your hips back. So you're going to get a lot of the benefits of hamstring flexibility, back flexibility without the added pressure on the wrists. So it brings us to the last few things we're going to do together. And it is a series of postures and called sun salutation. So there's many different kinds of sun salutation. This is a traditional sun salutation. And we're going to be doing a modified version of it using just about everything that we've done so far. It's going to have the cat-cow pose. It's going to have downward facing dog. And it's going to have the runner's lunge or equestrian pose. So coming to the very front of your mat. Again, I may have to adjust. It's really hard to see if you can see me. So coming to the very front of your mat. And you're going to start with your hands in prayer position. So your hands are at your heart in prayer position. And from here, your feet are pressing flat down into the mat or to the floor beneath you. You feel the muscles in your quadriceps, the strength in your legs. So really press down through the feet evenly. And with your hands at your heart, take a nice deep breath in and out. On an inhalation, pressing through your feet equally, reach your arms up to the ceiling and lean back, making sure that the bend is coming from the low back, not from your knees, not from your head, because your head should be in between your arms. On an exhalation, since I've been babbling here, on an exhalation, take your hands to your hips and press your hips back so you're coming forward with the flat back. Bend your knees. Take your right leg back into that runner's lunge. On an exhalation, take your left leg back. Now you're in downward facing dog. Coming up on the toes, drop into table. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Press back into downward facing dog. Picking up your left leg, look at your hands. Shift your weight like you're going to go into a plank. Bring that left leg all the way through. This is really important. So bring it all the way through, and you might need to lift it up and put it there. So the back knee is down. You've got your knee directly over your ankle. You're back into that runner's lunge. Exhale, right leg to left. Hands on your hips, coming up with the flat back. Reach up through your fingertips. Lean back, come up, and exhale into prayer. Second side of the first round. Inhale up. Stretch to your fingertips. Lean back. Come up, hands on your hips. Exhale forward, bend your knees. Now you're going to inhale the left leg back. So taking a big step back, lightly dropping your knees down, your knee down, coming into that equestrian or runner's lunge pose. Exhale the right leg back into downward facing dog. Coming onto your toes, coming into table. Inhale cow. Exhale cat. Press back into downward facing dog. Now, since we're on the other side, we need to bring the other leg forward. So looking at your hands, picking up your right leg, bring that right leg all the way through, lightly dropping the left leg down. Exhale, left to right. Hands on your hips. Inhale, reach the arms up, lean back, come up, and exhale into prayer. That's considered a full round, right and left side. Now we're going to move a little faster. So again, coming back to the front of your mat, if you've slipped back a little bit, come back to the front. Take a breath in and out in prayer position. Pressing through your feet, inhale the arms up, lean back, come up, exhale forward, bend your knees. Inhale the right leg all the way back in equestrian. Exhale the left leg back into downward facing dog. Holding the breath out, come into table. Inhale cow, exhale cat. Press back into downward facing dog. Picking up the left leg, look at your hands, bring your left leg through. Exhale, right to left. Hands on your hips. Inhale, sweep the arms up, reaching through your fingertips, then lean back, come up, and exhale into prayer. Second side of the second round. Inhale up, lean back, come up, exhale forward, bend your knees. Inhale the left leg back into equestrian. Exhale the left leg back into downward facing dog. With the breath held out, come into table. Inhale, deep breath in, cow. Exhale, deep breath out, cat. Continue to exhale, coming into downward facing dog. Picking up the right leg, looking at the hands, bringing the right leg through. Leaving the left leg back into equestrian. Exhale, left to right. Hands on your hips. Inhale, sweep the arms up, lean back, come up, and exhale into prayer. Last round. Take a breath in and out. Inhale up, lean back, come up, exhale forward, bend your knees. Inhale the right leg back, looking up. Exhale the left leg back into downward facing dog. Coming onto the toes, drop into table. Inhale cow. Exhale cat, press back into downward facing dog. Picking up the left leg, looking at the hands, bring the left leg through. Exhale right to left, hands on your hips. Inhale, coming up with the flat back, reach through your fingertips, lean back, come up, and exhale into prayer. Second side of the third round. Inhale up, lean back, come up, exhale forward, bend your knees. Inhale the left leg back. Exhale the right leg back. Holding the breath out, come into table. Inhale cow. Exhale cat. Press back into downward facing dog. Picking up the right leg, looking at your hands, bringing your right leg through. Exhale left to right. Hands on your hips. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Lean back, come up, and exhale into prayer. And that is the sun salutation. I'm hoping that the poses and the joint mobility movements that I introduced you today will be helpful for you to keep you busy while you are biding your time indoors, but that you also continue to do them when we get back out on our skates. So I'm wishing all that have been watching this video the best of health. I wish you safety, good health, and that you are out skating again very soon. Thank you.